Welcome to Games from Folktales, a podcast that mixes historical research and tabletop game settings. This is a bonus episode to encourage you to head over to the Kickstarter for the Imaginomia Bestiary. The theme for this series of episodes is that I go through each of the creatures and I give you the material that I've taken them from so that you can have a scavenge around for additional plot hooks or added character depth. Although it's disguised a little with variants, the creature called Iala in the Imaginomia Bestiary is the haunted harp found in one of the most popular folk songs in the British Isles. To keep things English, which was the remit of the book, I deliberately used a variant from Berwickshire, but we can look at others for potential inspirations. Several versions take place, for example, in London. The Twa Sisters, TWA, is recorded in the Child Ballads, which aren't nursery rhymes. They were collected by a folklorist called Francis Child. As a sign of its antiquity, it's the 10th ballad recorded in his 5-volume work. Textually, he can trace it back as far as 1656 to a broadsheet called Wit Restored by a comic author called James Smith. But that story appears so widely, it's likely he didn't pen it, but instead he adapted something already known. Child himself finds it in the four nations of Britain and in Poland, Estonia, Norway, Iceland, Denmark, Sweden, and Germany. More recent research has found variants which turn up as distantly as Hungary. There's some variation in the stories, which is why when someone tries to glue the bits together, it creates continuity errors. My favourite version of this song is The Bonnie Swans by Lorena McKennett, but you'll notice that in her first verse there are 3 daughters of a farmer, and in the third verse there are 2 daughters of a king. In some versions, the younger daughter offers to give up her lover, in others she refuses to. In some, she's drowned in the sea or in a river. In some, they go to the water to wash, to do their laundry, or to look out for their father's ship. You can twist this story very heavily to suit your PCs and stay well within the folkloristic tradition. The drowned girl's body or part of her body are almost always used to make the instrument. A viol is popular in some versions and a harp in others. I used a viol because there's something that players will have less experience with there, and because my daughter plays a vague relative of the viol that survived into the modern day. The part used to make the instrument varies substantially. It can be as little as her hair being used for the strings, but eventually it becomes a lengthy and gruesome list that includes her trunk, skull, limbs, nose, hair, teeth, veins, and fingers. One Swedish version has her body wash ashore, grow into a linden tree, and have that tree harvested and the wood used to make the instrument. Usually the instrument's taken to a wedding feast and it breaks things up. The English version of the song in Child's time was so degraded that instead the harp is taken to a king. This is why in McKennett's version, the girl seems to change families mid-story. In some versions, the instrument sounds without human aid. In others, it plays its musician. It forces the musician to play it. In yet others, it just takes its chance when another tune has begun. In the Icelandic versions, the song of the instrument is of itself fatal. Time for a quote. The first string made response, the bride was my sister once. The bride on the bench she spake, that harp much trouble doth make. The second string answered the other, she is parting me from my lover. Answered the bride red as gore, the harp is vexing us sore. The canny third string replied, I owe my death to the bride. He made all the harp strings clang, the bride's heart burst with a pang. The murderess is often burned. In one variant, she's stabbed by the bridegroom. In a third, she's banished after her sister is restored to life and pleads on her behalf. The younger sister rarely comes back to life. One variant has it when the harper smashes the instrument after receiving a bribe from the bride. This disenchants the girl, who then has her sister sent into exile. It might serve as a guide for the NPC in Imaginomia. Smashing the harp may be all she needs to get back to being human. Here's a version. It's called version A in the Child Ballads. Compare it with McKennett. Link on the blog that accompanies the podcast, or just look up the Bonnie Swans on YouTube. See how far it travels away. I'm not going to sing it because you've suffered enough. There were 2 sisters, they went a-playing with a high down down, a downy A. To see their father's ships come sailing in with a high down down, a downy A. And when they came unto the sea brim, the elder did push the younger in. O sister, take me by the gown and draw me upon the dry ground. O sister, that may not be till salt and oatmeal grow both of a tree. Sometimes she sank, sometimes she swam, until she came unto the mill dam. The miller run hastily down the cliff, and up he betook her withouten her life. What did he do with her breastbone? He made him a viol to play thereupon. What did he do with her fingers so small? He made him pegs to his viol withal. What did he do with her nose ridge? Unto his viol he made him a bridge. What did he do with her veins so blue? He made him strings to his viol thereto. What did he do with her eyes so bright? Upon his viol he played at first sight. What did he do with her tongue so rough? Unto the viol it spake enough. What did he do with her two shins? Unto the viol they danced mulsims. Then bespake the treble string, O yonder is my father the king. Then bespake the second string, O yonder sits my mother the queen. And then bespake the strings all three, O yonder is my sister that drowned me. Now pay the miller for his pain, and let him be gone in the devil's name. Your saga may vary.